don't forget who you are, and don't forget who you want to be. So the only words I have for today to really acknowledge the person that we wanted to be. But we have to constantly reanalyze that and see if it's still, still a productive way. A lot of the dreams we have as kids, some of us have big plans for the future. Some of us don't. I was one of the people who didn't have any plans. I decided not to go to college or make any, big career choices in life. And I saw a lot of people around me who seemed to know what they wanted to do. And I used to think, man, that must be awesome to know what you want to do in life. But there was always something nagging at the back of my mind that said that, just because a person wants to do something now doesn't mean they will in 5 years or 10 years. So I was always very wary about taking any courses or going to college for any particular thing. And even to this day, I know I could do college well. I just choose not to because I don't see any interest in the current educational paradigm. So a lot of the times the dreams that we have as kids are dreams that we can only fulfill if we go to college. Certain jobs, careers. So I always told myself, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have a career that's dependent upon a particular education structure. But that's kind of the world we live in. It's what we have to do sometimes. It's just not for me. But when I look back and think of the things that I wanted to do and be, I never really had any major, dreams. I just wanted to let the world take me where it went, and that's what's happened. Something I was thinking about yesterday that really gets to me sometimes is when I hear parents talking with, say, their teenage kid, and they ask them questions like, well, brings back the old, that old Twisted Sister song, where they're like, what do you want to do with your life? Of course, he says he wants to rock. That's kind of how I felt as a kid, And I always see these parents who tell their kids, if you don't do this or that, then you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. It's like, what is making it? Making it is just being, existing, surviving, but doing it with good values. That's my opinion, of course. But I hear people look back and say, oh man, I should have done this or I should have done that. Well, you didn't. Here you are. But sometimes I hear older generations, not older, but like my generation, and they'll say, I wish I would have done this or I could have had this. And sometimes they say things like, well, what have I done with my life, And they may have a family, home, a job, everything that they need. But they're still thinking about what they could have done. And to me, that's like dwelling on the past, the what ifs, the maybes. It's just not worth it. Here we are. It's like every day we start out fresh. It's funny because even at 38 years old, I can wake up in the morning and think, I can start over, every day. Take a new career or a new approach. But it's not that easy for everyone, and it's not that easy for me either. I mean, just because I say I want to do something doesn't mean that I do or I can't or I will. And it's very difficult to break away from everyday life to realize that you can start over, especially if you have things in your life that keep you tied to your normal way of living, such as if you have a family to support, you can't go wander off into the hills and become a hermit, nor would you want to if you have a good family. And if you've been a hermit all your life, it's very hard to come and find a family and a wife and have children and understand how to live. So some of us do one thing, some of us do another. It's not up to any one of us to point out another person's path and whether their job was valid or their career was successful. And It really saddens me to hear parents who spend so much time worrying about how much money their kids are going to make and do absolutely nothing to instill good values in the kids. They give the children the impression that we have to be on top, that we have to make ourselves known, that we have to be better than the next guy, and we have to make as much money as possible. It's like the family doctors who expect their children to be doctors. It's sickening to no end, and in ancient cultures that was considered very normal for a child to take on their father's career. There weren't as many careers then, but now there are just too many. And to make a child go into a line of work just because the parent was in it, I don't think is conducive to finding the child's strong points, but that's just my opinion. I just hope that my kids do the right thing. Hope that I do the right thing. Peace out, everybody. Hope you have a great day.